Welcome to The Patty Show. My name is Patty Setiatti, and in this podcast, we'll explore the crossing point of the three P's: passion, pleasure, and positivity, and how they can lead you to your own personal paradise. We'll chat with inspiring guests, share practical tips, and dive into stories that will empower you to live your best life. Let's get the Patty Party started. Welcome back to The Patty Show, everybody. Woohoo! Yes! Oh, wow! Thank you, studio audience. You're too kind. I love the energy today, the warmth. We're on episode 81. Boundaries are self-love. Today's a great episode today, y'all. Welcome back to The Patty Show. You know, I'm your host, Patty Setiatti, and I have the honor of showing off multi-passionate people that I have the pleasure of connecting with that bring positivity to the world, and they share their personal paradise. Whew, that's a lot of alliteration, a lot of P's, but it's The Patty Show. That's what we do out here. Before we continue on this amazing, fun episode today, I just want to shout out my previous guest, Ashita Henre. She is, founder, CEO of the Marriage Movement, helps couples, with their relationship and building strong bonds. She shares her story of, her marriage, unfortunately, becoming a failed one, but it made her stronger, and it helped her help other couples as well. So it was a really great episode, fun times. She's a coach, a speaker, host, producer. She does a lot of things. She's the author of the book, The Top 8 Questions Every Woman Should Ask Herself Before Saying, I Do. Really good book. I didn't read all of it, but she talks about it in her book, and she actually has a book coming out real soon. It should be coming out when this episode airs. I got to double check on that. But thank you, Ashita. Sorry for killing you at the gym. I also trained with her. She's one of my clients, so to speak. Today we were doing a killer ab workout. So her and my other girl, Ebony, y'all are killing it. Next time we'll add some more weight. So it was a fun one. Speaking of fun, guys, we got a fun episode today on episode 81 of The Patty Show. My guest today, I don't know if you guys are ready. He is a passionate writer, producer, content analyst, multilingual, creative with effortless style.
Oh my
You can
God.
see the glasses over
I'm
here as
blushing.
well. Oh, don't blush too much. We got water and tissues. Don't worry, that's a patty joke. He blends tech and content creation smoothly. Wow. Oh my God. Tech and content creation. Look at him. The Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Communication and Media Studies. My German brother, the Fresh Prince himself. Give it up with the man with the warm laugh and smile, Michael Esser. Woo! My brother, thank you, man.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Thanks for coming to The Patty Show. Welcome.
Of course.
If you could give a self-intro to everybody, your background, hobbies, passions, and how we know each other, the floor is yours. Do your thing.
Okay. So yeah, I'm a German.
Oh, yes, there we go. Mr. International.
As you can hear from my accent.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Came here 10 years ago. Before that, in Germany, I did a lot of stuff, mainly writing and producing.
Yes, sir.
For TV and also for feature films.
Wow, okay.
And I did that for, a long time. Until I found that Germany had nothing really new to offer to me.
Oh, wow, okay.
And that is when I came here. How I got started in this business was right after school. I really had no idea what to do with my life. I got a job as a ticket boy in a movie theater.
Really? Okay.
Yep. And I sold the tickets, and as soon as I was done, I went, of course, for free to watch all the movies. And
that's so smart. I love that.
That is how I got started. Yeah, and then from there it was like a lot of wrong streets at first. I tried to become a DP, the director of photography.
Oh wow, you did all of the film stuff, huh? That's a lot.
That, but that at the end wasn't really too exciting. And then I went to to Italy, actually. That was like a pure coincidence. I went there because I lent my car to some friends.
Oh, wow. What a way to go to
They went on
Italy.
vacation.
Yeah.
And then when they were in Italy, they called me and told me, oh, you know, there's something wrong with your car. I think we have to wreck it here. And I had to travel there and see what the hell was happening. And that made me stay there for 3 or 4 weeks. And in that time, I checked out Rome a little bit, discovered that they had an amazing film school, and applied for the film school.
Wow. How did you learn Italian, by the way? I saw that you speak fluent Italian.
Yep. I spent there 10 years, so by now it's pretty fluent. But at the time, you know, I applied and they accepted my application.
Oh my goodness.
And I spoke not even one word of Italian. So I went to a school which fortunately had lessons, classes every day for, I think, 8 weeks. But, you know, I mean, 8 weeks, you can only do so much.
Yeah, unless you're really into it, I guess.
Yep.
It's so hard with the language learning and everything.
It really is.
And you speak multiple languages, right?
Yeah, French, and of course German,
bonjour.
English, and
Some
I can understand Spanish.
Poquito? Okay, there we go. There we go.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. When you were growing up in Germany, though, did you guys learn different languages as well, or was it just English, or when did you learn English?
I learned English in the movie theater,
okay.
because
Nice.
that was a really special place.
Yeah.
They played movies in original language, and not always with subtitles, and so that is how I learned English. And then, of course, in school, but that wasn't too helpful. I mean, we read a lot of books, which was good. But yeah, mainly in the movies.
That's how you learned all the bad words, I'm guessing.
Yep, exactly.
That's all the action films, you know, PG-13 rated R.
Yep.
Oh my God! Wow. Well, you have great English, as you can tell, because he's on the English-speaking podcast over here. So, out of those languages that you know, which one do you think is the most difficult to learn?
Well, German, if I wouldn't speak it naturally, would certainly be very difficult to learn. It has so many different cases, and especially, you know, there's one precise word for every thing.
Interesting.
And not a composition of words, you know, but it's one word. You cannot do what you usually do in English, for example, you know, to put 3 words together to, you know, explain a certain issue or subject. You have to have the precise word.
It's very concrete, kind of. Okay.
Yep. So that's difficult. I also found French difficult to learn, but it's more because, you know, if you are in France, where I also spent some time, people really don't appreciate learners, you know.
Oh, I've heard that stereotype. Yeah. Yes.
While in Italy, it was really a breeze to learn it, because, you know, even if you know only 50 words, people start talking to you as if you understood perfectly Italian.
I think that's similar with probably Spanish then, right? The people very welcoming. I learned a lot of Spanish because my ex-girlfriend was Puerto Rican, so I went to Puerto Rico a couple times.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, of course, I don't look like anybody over there, so they knew I was foreign already. But I would know, like, the random, like, lyrics from songs and, like, different phrases, like, I forget now. See, I'm forgetting on the spot. I'm nervous. But, you know, like, but the only thing with that is I remember one time, I would think we were driving with her mom, and then we're playing, like, you know, the music, and I love the different reggaeton, Spanish music, but all the music I like, all the lyrics are like bad. Like, you know, in front of my girlfriend at the time's mom is probably the worst impression. It's a lot of, like, you know, booty shaking, girl come this way, you know, like, so I'm just like singing it on the top of my lungs, like, cool, and then she's like, this is not the best song to play. So it helps knowing languages, guys. But no, French, I did try to learn a little bit. Also because of a girl, again. It's always because of a girl. Of course it is. But luckily, I've never been to France, but one of my best friends is from Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, my boy Jan. He was on the first episode of the Patty Show.
Oh, okay.
So he's taught me some of the French words over there, so it's a little bit easier. And then the girl that I met when I was in Bali, she was very welcoming when it came to teaching the
Nice.
French. So
Nice.
I know nothing still, guys. I did Duolingo for like 100-something days, but I don't think it's enough to actually learn like a language. You know, you have to really be immersed into culture and like
You certainly do.
you have to be like forced to do it because like we were talking like off camera, but when I was in Indonesia for 7th and 8th grade, my Indonesian proficiency was really bad because I had no practice of it. My family in the U.S., you know, no one really spoke Indonesian. It was hard to find like friends in school that spoke it, you know. So I could understand it, but my pronunciation was terrible. No practice. When I finally go to school there, I had to learn quick, you know. You get bullied for it. All the classes are in Indonesian and everything. So you kind of have that survival, like, oh, I have to get it, you know. I'm sure similar with you when you're in Italy. You're like,
totally.
I need to apply myself, right? Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, absolutely.
What's a good Italian phrase I should know if I'm, let's say, you know, let's say I'm going to Rome next week, which that would be kind of nice, actually. Anyone want to sponsor the trip? You know, let me know. Leave in the comments. What's a good phrase I should learn? An Italian phrase.
Depends on what you want, but let's say a good phrase to start with would certainly be something like "Ti va di farmi vedere la tua bella città."
Okay, I didn't get any of that.
Which would mean...
Okay, what does it mean?
Would you like to show me around in your beautiful city?
This is my boy. He's my wingman. Give me that. I couldn't have said it any better. Okay, how do you say that though again? You said
Ti va di farmi vedere la tua bella città.
Damn. Okay, I'm probably not gonna marry an Italian woman. I'm sorry. That is a tongue twister. Ti va
di farmi vedere la tua bella città.
No, come on
there
now.
You go.
Man, that's a good one right there. Man, I'm gonna have to use that. Let me practice this clip multiple times.
Okay.
I'll just rewind it. Wow, that's a good one, man. How about what's your phone number? How do you say what's your phone number?
You would say vuoi darmi il tuo numero di telefono.
Then why are they so long? Why
Everything
is it so long?
a little long in Italian. Yeah, that's
I'm just
true.
gonna be like, how do you say number in
numero?
Numero. I just point my phone. I'll be like,
yep.
Numero.
You can also simply say numero di telefono.
Numero di telefono.
Yep, there you go.
Oh,
perfect.
Man. Thank you. There's just so many languages to learn. I know like little phrases for so many different ones from like just, you know, like we were talking about before, just traveling and exploring things. Like we have a lot of, shout out to my Brazilian red teamers, our homies out there. They teach me like random words, you know, like absolutamente and all that kind of stuff. So I just know random words, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good way to start. I would say.
All the random stuff.
Yep.
Speaking of coworkers, we forgot to tell people how we know each other.
Right.
It was the Handsome Gentlemen's Convention, right?
Was it?
Yes, I think. No. I would in another life.
Of course it was.
Of course. But yeah, how do we know each other, man?
Yeah, so we both work for this beautiful company called Meta.
Yes.
And I have been working here for almost 2 years. Wow. I don't know how long you are here.
I think around the same time as well,
okay.
yeah, because I was remote for a little bit. August 2024, yeah. August 2024.
Yep. And
wow,
so
it's fast approaching, huh?
One day I thought it was high time to get to know the people in the office because I work almost exclusively remotely.
Nice.
And I came here and we got to know each other, which was amazing and it still
really
is.
An amazing, blessed time. Technical writer is the role that you're in right now?
It is.
Yes. I remember the first time we met in person. It was in Long Beach, right?
Oh, right.
Long
We
Beach,
even met before that. I forgot about that.
Shout out to Anna and all the homies that pulled up. That was such
Patricia,
a fun.
right?
And Robin, yeah.
You're
Shout
so
out to them.
Yeah.
We had 2 of them already on the podcast, and we're gonna have you soon. Watch out when I come back to the Bay Area. But yeah, it was a fun time to finally meet you in person. It's so funny in this new like work environment where you can be online, and we have, you know, our coworkers. Some of them live in New York, some of them are in like the Bay Area, so you don't really meet them, and you only meet them through chat or like Zoom.
Right.
But It's so nice to meet you in person, man. Because
nice.
Your energy, man, like so radiant. It was such a. This is my flower section of the Patty Show, by the way. Whoosh, 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 flowers, flowers, flowers. We don't have sound effects, not yet. But man, the first time I met you, the warmth that you gave to me and everybody, it's like I knew you forever, man. I'm serious, like guys.
Same here.
Literally, I was
Thank
like,
you.
how? It's like I feel like I met you like forever
20
ago,
years
like, literally 20 years ago, and like our conversations that we were talking about was fun. Talking about my travels, his travels, me trying to find my wife. So if you're looking for a single man, that's put my application. You can find me at Patty Show Podcast. On TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that. But man, seriously, man, it was so fun to meet you that first time.
Yep, it was.
I'm glad you're here on the podcast. We have a lot to talk about. Your energy and your work is super inspiring. Let's talk about some of your early career stuff, okay?
Okay.
German soap operas, man.
Yep.
The king of German soap operas. Okay,
Yeah,
over here, Let's talk about. Let me see if I can say this properly.
Okay.
Verbieten Liebe.
Pretty good. Verbotene Liebe.
What is it?
Verbotene Liebe.
Verbotene Liebe. Verbotene Liebe. Tell me what that's about, and wow, I'm glad I could learn how to say it because it's a great show, guys. Tell me a little bit about Forbidden Love in English.
Yeah, so Forbidden Love was actually the first show I ever worked on.
Wow, okay.
And it was, I think, the first soap opera that ever was on German TV.
Wow.
It was imported from Australia, of all places.
Wow. Shout out to the Aussies.
Yeah, because it came together with a whole structure of how to do daily TV shows, because until that time in Germany nobody could even fathom that it was possible, to do like 40 minutes of stuff each day. And so they came and they had all the organization figured out how to do that. And of course they needed writers, and nobody who was an established writer wouldn't even think about the writing for a show like that. And so they were looking for newbies and found me. And
the newbie into the legendary right here.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of reps in, because how many episodes did you write for that one?
I think close to 200.
Oh, God.
220.
We just hit like episode 81 on the Patty Show, man. I need a lot more writing, guys.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane, man. Forbidden Love is, I think it's on YouTube. You can actually find it, because I watched
think so too, yeah.
some of the episodes. The first episode I watched, which I think was the first episode, is like the plane landing scene, right? This guy... kind of reminded me of me, actually. He's in this guy. That's why when I saw it, I was like, I need to keep watching this. The guy's like in the airport landing, I think with his friends, his homies, and he sees like this beautiful girl, in the corner of his eye. She looks back, he looks in. I'm like, damn, you taking me back, bro? Like flashbacks to my travels in like Europe, Southeast Asia. Let me make a phone call real quick. No, I didn't make a phone call. But man, it was like, it gives me a lot of parallels to Indonesians. We also have a lot of soap operas. They call them sinetron, but it's similar kind of vibe where it's like a daily thing too. And there's like a similar formula where, they lead with something. They have the theme music, which is really amazing. Shout out to the song, Forbidden Love. Is that the name of the song, Forbidden Love? Who sings that song, by the way?
I'm not sure if it was Forbidden Love. I have no idea actually who sang that. I would have to
find it eventually.
Look that up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a catchy song and it's in English, so that's all I know.
Yeah.
Forbidden love, let's say to your heart. Something like that. Right? Come on now.
Yeah,
it's a good one. It's a good one. Maybe we'll make a Patty Show version of Forbidden Love. That could be its own subsection of Forbidden Love. But yeah, man, it was a really engaging episode, man. The first couple of minutes, I'm like, damn, you wrote that in what year was that?
Maybe that was 89 or 91 or something like that. Yeah, a long time ago. Yep.
I thought you were 31.
Yep, I am.
Damn, man, you're a time traveler. But man, it was pretty cool, man. I need to watch some more because, I might get into the rabbit hole because whenever I get like addicted to a TV show or something, And recently I have been watching a lot of stuff. I just get like locked in, so I have to watch it. Which was your favorite episode to write, though? Did you have one that you kind of like put a lot of effort towards, or that you were like, oh?
Yeah, well, it's a story that from the beginning tells you that it probably doesn't end too well, because these two people you just described pretty soon discover that they are brother and sister, but nevertheless they fall in love. That's why it's called Forbidden Love.
Damn!
And everything from there pretty much goes downhill for them.
Oh God!
Because on the one hand they are in love, and on the other hand, they are siblings.
Yeah, that's not. Yep. That definitely is forbidden. Don't do that, guys. Please. Unless you're in Alabama. If you're watching in Alabama, like and subscribe, please. That's insane, man. Oh my God. How do you have those ideas come up as a writer, though, man? Because I feel like not everyone would think about that. How did you come up with those ideas? And like, did you work in another room with other people, or first-hand experience?
So for that one, I have to give credit to the Australians, because they came with that idea for the show.
Okay.
It's actually a show that exists already in Australia, but
nice.
we had to, of course, translate everything to adapt it to Germany,
and with like the cultural like spin on it too, right?
Right,
awesome.
right. And and the way that this is done is 5 to 6 people sit in a room every day, and the first 2 days of the week you collect ideas. What can we do in this week? How can we use all the characters? What good dramatic moments do we want to reach? And starting on the third day, you basically put the stuff in order so that it is enough for 5 episodes, and then everybody goes into his room and writes his episode. And at the end of the week, you hopefully have 5 decent episodes. And the good thing about it is, a lot of people despise working for these kind of shows, but I can only recommend everybody who wants to write, try it, do it at least for a year.
Yeah.
Because the good thing is you simply can't afford to have a writer's block,
Yeah.
You need to deliver something, because otherwise there is no show, and that teaches you pretty soon that a writer's block is something of a myth, because if you really keep at it, then you also will be able to put something on the page, especially
Absolutely.
if there's pressure and a clock
Exactly.
ticking in the background. So that was the good thing about this experience.
Writer's block. No, he does have an article about it, which we will talk about eventually. But I liked how you mentioned that, because it's also the urgency, whether it's like writing, or for me right now, I've been posting daily on my TikTok and Instagram for the fitness page, trying to get more online clients and everything. But yeah, once you keep doing the reps, there is no writer's block, because scripting and then like executing, it's just, because your mind is so fresh from all the different ideas, you just keep moving. The thing I think is a big problem with a lot of people is the perfectionism, and I get like that too, where I'm like, it has to be, it has to be like perfect. Every little angle is like, oh, I'm gonna be teaching about nutrition today, so it has to be hit this point. And it's like, no, sometimes you just gotta make it look messy, and before you know it, it's gonna come together. And especially nowadays with like the AI stuff, I think it's even better. I was talking to my brother about this, that it's unpolished, that there's like maybe some voice cracks, maybe there's some dead space in between. That's the beauty of it, because it makes it more human, So that's crazy. So they were really putting you to work over there, just writing all the time. Oh my goodness.
And you're so right about the messiness, I also teach a little bit creative writing at university. And what the most important thing is, I try to communicate with students is, put something on the page, because if nothing is there, you have nothing to think about and to work with. If you keep it in your head, who is ever gonna, see it or or read it, but once it's on the page, you can easily cross out, or push delete, and say, okay, all this is crap, but something will remain that works, and that is how you get started.
I like that you said you have to take it outside your head, because even though you know it, the people helping you don't know it.
Exactly.
Wow, that's so fascinating, man. I guess that helps a lot with any type of creative block, because with the different stuff I do, like with the podcast and everything, sometimes I'm also like, who should I have next on the show? What idea should I have? And sometimes you just got to just start typing, or like even saying it out loud. That's another thing too, honestly, for if you guys don't like writing or typing, voice notes. I've been doing that a lot. Start rambling. I'm like, oh yeah, today I was walking in the park and I was thinking about a German supermodel with nice glasses. And I know who it is, my boy Mike Esser over here. The Oakley, sponsored by the Patty. No, I wish. We'll get it.
We wish.
Eventually we'll get to that. But yeah, man, those are some really good tips. For the writing room though, I'm so fascinated because I've never been in a proper like writing room environment. You said it was like 5 people in the whole thing?
Often 5.
Often 5 or something like that. When they decide like the final like script for the episodes, does everyone get an input? How does it work? Is it balanced, or is it like one person has like the seniority, I guess, for that? How does that work?
Yeah, it's usually a review process, a process of writing and reviewing. So once you are done with the scripts, we checked on the scripts that we wrote, and then there's one head writer usually, but he or she can't read all this stuff, so they have to rely on editors that work for them and check everything for accuracy, that everything from episode to episode makes sense.
Oh yeah, the continuity.
The continuity,
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and then there's still also a TV network.
Oh yeah,
that
to give
airs
the green
the
light.
show, so they have to greenlight it. Yep. So
that makes sense. Yeah, because they can't just have the story and then out of nowhere a long-haired Indonesian man steals the blonde German girl, If you want to write that character and let me know, I'll gladly do that.
Get started right after this.
Perfect.
If I was writing
let's
on
take
a show.
Let's take a break right now. But no, man, because I've also seen now it's getting more trendy now. Have you seen vertical short form videos before?
Yep.
They're kind of also like soap opera vibes now.
Yep,
where,
very fascinating. I like that. Yeah.
And there's also another one where they record fast. Everything's like quick pace. It's like get the script in, boom, 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 boom. I've seen a lot of auditions. Got a couple auditions for that stuff. It's like, there's so many different genres. A lot of them are though like werewolf based though that I've been seeing. It's like
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Like my plumber is a werewolf, or something is a
Oh
werewolf.
my God.
Maybe not plumber.
Wow.
That's kind of random. But something like my ex-boyfriend's a werewolf, or CEO werewolf, or something like that.
I have to check that out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's very, very interesting. I'll say. I watched a couple of clips just to learn, and I'm like, it's unique. It makes your head, start thinking. You're like, who thought of this? And who broke their heart?
Yeah, of course.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
When you write about like those heartbreaking stories, man, do you channel in your own heartbreak, or do you just detach from that? How are you as a writer when it comes to that?
No, yeah, that's a very good question, because if you write and take it seriously, you cannot be detached, Again, a lot of people, especially when it comes to soap operas, they say, these stereotypical characters, they're all, they don't have really 3 dimensions and stuff like that. But, you either take them as serious as, I take you sitting in front of me, or you will not get one word that makes sense written. Writing really only works if you are ready, to go out with basically everything you have, and it doesn't matter if it's a soap opera, or your masterpiece that will endure, the centuries and be still read. It really doesn't matter, You need to put whatever you have in it. Otherwise, I would say don't even start.
Yeah, there's no substance to it. Then.
Yep.
Wow,
exactly.
Man. So who broke your heart? That's the real question. Wasn't it an Italian woman?
Yep, among many others.
Oh,
Of
among many others. Okay, well,
Yeah.
shout out to them, my Italian women out there. You know who you are. I'll hit you up later too. I'll learn that phrase again, so then when I go to Italy, when the Patty Show goes to Italy,
I'm here to help.
Oh, see my wingman over here. Germany too, man. Shout out to my German girls out there. You know who you are. You know, have too much fun. Mom, don't watch this part of the Patty Show, please. Thank you very much. Let me run it back though to siblings. Okay, not sibling love. Okay, please. We don't judge, but we're not talking about that. You're the oldest, aren't you? Of 4, you said?
Yep.
Look at that, oldest siblings over here.
Yeah.
How was it like in Germany growing up as the oldest of 4 kids, man?
Oh, tough stuff. And talking about what you suggested as a theme, boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 3 younger siblings, boundaries are like really, really important, because they are broken all the time.
Oh my God.
It's like the hardest thing to find some time for yourself, and basically in a family, all your life up to down to the most private things lays
Yeah.
lays open for everybody.
Absolutely.
And it takes nothing, to hurt somebody because you blur out, something that shouldn't have been said in the open. That's true for me towards my siblings, but also for them towards me, and finding your space in a situation like that, and make clear to everybody, look, this is how much I will be available, and from here on, it's my space, that I need to, be me.
Yeah, and operate properly.
Is a really, really tough thing to do.
It really is, man. Growing up with that like responsibility too, it's like a lot of pressure. I'm sure you felt that too, where you're like, you have to like guide your younger siblings, try to do as much good as you can, and then like you in a world of like entertainment and like writing and everything, there's so much uncertainty, I'm sure. So that extra pressure, the fact that you overcame it, and here you are in sunny Los Angeles on the Patty Show, man. Woo! You know what I'm saying? It's that's a lot of respect to you, man. All your siblings back in Germany, all of them, or okay?
Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, shout out to the siblings, shout out to the family out there.
Hi, guys.
You're from what town again? You said
Cologne in Western
yes.
Germany. Yeah.
I know the soccer team, I think. FC Cologne,
FC Cologne,
yes,
exactly.
I'm a Borussia Dortmund fan,
Of course you are.
Man, black and yellow, let's go.
Yep.
And yeah, I've only went to Berlin, I think, when I went to Germany, but that was just a quick little stop on the little bus on the way to Denmark. So yeah, Germany is a cool spot. Maybe I have to go back when you go back. We'll get a boys trip going over there.
Let's do it.
The beer is really good there, man. When I was there, it was
great beer.
Probably the best, man.
Great beer.
The best. But I'm more of a lighter beer kind of guy because I can't handle the like lagers.
No, they are like light choices. Yeah, absolutely.
I forget the name of one that I got at this random stop. I forgot the name of it, but it was like very light. And I just know it was German because I do not know how to read it. So I was like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. What's your favorite German beer, though? Any recommendations for people to try out there?
Yeah. Cologne actually has their own beer, which is called Kelch.
Kelch?
Yep.
Kelch? Okay.
And it's absolute worth trying. The sad thing about that beer is it doesn't live well in bottles.
Oh.
So you have to go there to drink it. I mean, you get it here too, but it's not good for... It's
not going to be the same, huh?
Yeah, it's not good for transportation. But if you are there, you should absolutely try it. I like it a lot.
Wow, I got to try that. How do you say it?
Kelch.
Kelch, okay. I mean, a lot of products too, like in Indonesia too, we have Indomie. Have you tried mie goreng before?
No.
So it's the instant noodles, right? In like the package, but instead of having like, with ramen noodles, it's the soup broth. This one has no broth. So you just you cook the noodles in the water till they're like al dente, Not too hard, not too soft. If you know, you know. Then you put it into your bowl. You put the seasonings inside, mix it up. You crack some, they have, what is it called? Fried onion, fried shallots on top.
Oh, good.
If you can add a little egg on top, a little runny
great.
yolk. Woo, man. Indomie mie goreng, man. Shout out to that. But we talk about it in one of the episodes with my boy, Yafi Fairuz, my boy, Anak LA. He's the homie out there. He's a great YouTuber and just super great inspiration. We were talking about how when I think it was his wife now gave him Indomie from Indonesia, and it's different because when it gets imported to the States, they do a lot of regulation stuff.
Oh.
But if you get it from straight the source, let's just say we don't care about MSG like that, so it tastes a little bit better, similar to how like the beer is, but maybe that's healthier than the the MSG. Not too sure, 100%. Life is about balance, guys. I'm a personal trainer, but you gotta have fun. You gotta have your fried noodles. You gotta have your beer. If not,
Indomie, yeah.
Indomie, man.
I remember that. I will try it.
Oh yeah, you got to, man. We'll try to find some good ones over here. It'll taste good still because like California's not too far from it. But the best is if you can get it from like the source. Like if my grandpa would visit or any family member would come, I tell them like, yo, just stuff it in your suitcase, and then you'll taste the difference.
Oh.
Yeah. A little extra oomph too. A little extra oomph over there.
Yep.
Speaking of food though, I'm curious about the German cuisine. Okay.
Okay.
What would you say is the most German food out there for people to try if they're visiting Germany, man? Like if they have to go.
Yeah, so that differs really a lot in Germany from region to region.
Region, okay.
So there is a dish for me that is the one I love most of all. It's called Sauerbraten. Which is basically meat that you put in a certain kind of liquid to season, and the liquid has like vinegar and oil and spices, and
I love vinegar, yeah.
And you leave it in there for I think 2 days or something like that.
So
and
it
then,
really gets in
and
there.
Then it gets in. You put it in the oven. And it has a really delicious taste.
Wow.
But that is something you would find only in Cologne. Then other regions, Bavaria is great for their sausages.
The pretzels too? Is that there?
Pretzels, of course.
Yeah.
Pretzels.
I love my pretzels.
Then the northern parts have like really great fish soup. If you go to Hamburg, you should absolutely try fish soup, which is great. So it's really like you travel 50 kilometers in Germany, and you are in, a totally different kind of part of the country with different kind of dishes,
Wow.
So,
what about in Stuttgart?
Stuttgart, they have a special kind of pasta, which is really good. I forgot the name now, but yeah, you get it everywhere. Maybe the name comes back to me, but it's really also very, very delicious.
That's amazing, man. Okay, shout out to the Stuttgart ladies. You know who you are. I know a fine lady from there. Let's just say that. I hope you're watching the show, That's what happens when you travel a lot. Speaking of travel, though, we were talking off camera about the hostel living that you've tried, man. Where did you stay for those hostels? What countries did you travel to?
For work, I traveled to a lot of countries. I think I was in every European country, and then including most of Eastern Europe, like Russia, Georgia, the country that is ex-Russia, all the Eastern countries that are now part of the EU, Czechoslovakia, Bulgaria. And so on. I was at least once in each one of them, but that was all business travel, and of course you have a hotel that is paid for. If I travel, for pleasure, let's say, I like to stay in more simpler places, and only recently I discovered that hostels are a great place to stay. Maybe not so much because I like, to stay with 6 people in a room. But, it's totally doable. But, the fact that you basically can't stay in your room makes for a great kind of life in the lobby of the hotel.
Absolutely.
People are every day in the lobby, and it's
very
really
social.
very social. Everybody works there, hangs out, and has a drink or coffee.
Yeah.
And that is something I like a lot.
Yeah, no, that's a really great tip for anyone that just wants to travel.
Yep, really it
because
is.
you literally get out of your comfort zone. And you don't want to stay in your room because, like I said, there's like 5-6 people.
You can't.
You can't. There's so much stuff happening there.
Yeah,
so it also like pushes you to want to explore more too now.
Exactly.
Now you're like, oh, I end up walking around like Warsaw, Poland. I don't know. Like, yeah, I stayed in a hostel in Warsaw, which is I love Poland. Poland's so fun. I did so much walking and exploring. Met some friends over there. Shout out to my girls or my British girls. And they were just like random. I remember I met them randomly when we were. I think I was checking in and they were like leaving the room. They're like, oh, we're going to one of the monuments. I don't even remember. I have it on my Instagram. But they're like, you want to pull up with us? I was like, let's go. Cool. Go ahead. I had nothing planned really. Cool. I was going to just chill in the room. But it's always nice to do those type of things. But we were talking about this off camera though, about how sleeping conditions can be kind of hard.
Yep.
Hard in the hostels. So if they also have private rooms now, I think, for that. So if you guys want to do the hostel stuff but aren't fully comfortable with people like fully around you in the same room, you can do like the private rooms but still have like that social environment kind of thing. So shout out to the hostels. Hostel World is a really good app. I don't know if you've ever tried that one.
I didn't know that.
It's good. You can meet a lot of people even through the app that don't even live in your hostel. It's just people in the city. Okay. So I've met a lot of people when I was like in like Northern Europe, and they were just like, hey, how are you? I met the girl from Stuttgart actually over there. So there you go. See, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the apps out there, all the different types of apps. You know, Tinder. All the dating apps. But yeah, man, the travel is just, it teaches you a lot about life. I'm sure it helps a lot with your writing too as well, right? From all the experiences.
Yeah, something has to go in for something to get out again,
That's deep.
And as I said before off camera, Germany, when I grew up, was a pretty uniform place, I would say. It was pretty rare to meet somebody at the time there who was not actually born in Germany. And and I left as soon as I could, which was at the age of 17. I went to London to work for half a year for this newspaper, for the magazine The Economist.
Wow, that's so cool, man.
And the culture shock was immense. A city like London, which is pretty comparable to Los Angeles. A total mixture of ethnicities and people from every part of the world, and and that was so eye-opening that I decided from there on to stay in Germany as little as possible.
Wow, okay. Yeah, London is a crazy spot. I've been a couple times, and it is pretty diverse, man.
London, man. It's a great city.
The cuisines, you have all types of foods too, because people are just like from all over. The Indian food there is
Indian food.
Man,
amazing,
man. It's like sometimes I eat it, I'm like, am I in India right now?
So true.
It's kind of great. London's great. The vibe is cool. That's amazing that you traveled early, and that's what I recommend for everyone out there. If you don't know what you want to do, just start traveling. You'll start learning. You'll learn what you like, and then what you don't like too. You know what I'm saying?
And then I would, what I also would recommend, my experience is try to stay and work in a country, even if it's only for 2 months, try to be really in that country, because it's a totally different experience from when you, if you are a tourist, you get to really know a place only if you, stay there for a time and live the life of the locals.
Absolutely. And I agree too, because like you can do the whole, backpacking thing, which I've done, is fun, but you only get like at most maybe a week at these destinations, so you don't really fully immerse yourself. Like when I was in, I think, Tartu, Estonia. It was a fun time. I was there for like a week, so I kind of got comfortable with like the environment and everything. But if I was like an actual student over there, I feel like I would have been so immersed. Maybe I would have been fluent in the language, you know.
Yeah, right.
Maybe I would have been married, fallen in love. You know.
Who knows?
It's always about love. That's why I went to Estonia.
It's always about love.
It's always love.
Yep.
Not forbidden love, but sometimes forbidden love can happen, you know. But yeah, man. But I saw you got your Master of Arts, man, at this school that I cannot pronounce, to be honest with you. Goddamn.
Kunsthochschule for Medien in Cologne.
Yes. Oh God.
Yep.
How did you say that so smoothly?
Hochschule
Schule
for Medien
Media.
Cologne.
Cologne.
Yeah.
Cologne. Yes.
Yep.
Sure. How was that master's program over there for you, man?
Well, that was more or less a pretty desperate move to go there because, as I said, I studied and worked in Italy. And at the film school, I studied to become an editor. And then I worked for a couple of years or longer, maybe 3-4 years in Italy as a movie editor.
Wow.
And
in Italian?
Wow,
dude. Wow, man. That's
and
so cool.
and at a certain point, because I'm really not a numbers guy, I discovered that basically working in Italy, I only was earning like a quarter of what I could earn in the same job in Germany. You know, I just didn't realize. You know, of course, there was also a bit of exploitation. You know, because you come fresh out of the film school, you take whatever you can,
of course,
as a job. And so I thought, okay, you know, I love what I do, but I of course would like to do it for a little bit more money.
Of course, passion can only take you so far, you know.
So true.
When it takes out of your pocket, you know.
So I thought let's check Germany out again. But at that time I hadn't been there for 7 years.
Wow. No, not even through like holidays?
Yeah, no, holidays, yes. But
just quick stints, right?
But I hadn't been there, like, let's
Properly.
say, professionally.
Wow, okay.
So I thought, you know, what's the best thing to do to get back in touch with, or not even back in touch, but when I left Germany, I hadn't been in touch with the media business at all. Wow. So I needed an into the media business, and this school was just opening, and so and they had a lot of teachers who were network executives, and I thought, you know, it might be a smart thing.
You're smart, man. I like the way you think.
To go and you know, apply there and study, and it was good. I got to know a lot of people from German TV networks.
Nice.
Which was good for what I did afterwards.
Of course, it's always networking. You never know who you're gonna meet.
Networking is, you know, some people say it's half of the business. It's in reality everything, you know. Networking, especially in the media business.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really, really everything.
Yeah, and the people that hate on it is just not that good at networking. So maybe we need a networking masterclass.
Yep, let's do it.
Yeah. It's gonna cost y'all though, because we need to fund this podcast, you know. No, but networking is super important, man. And when you were doing this degree, did you also meet the people for like your next projects then when you were there, or how did that work out? Yeah,
I met a lot of people who, you know, who were the decision makers in TV networks.
Interesting.
And that got me like jobs for 2 documentaries that I did later. And through these documentaries, you know, I got the attention of the people who then hired me to write on the Forbidden Love.
Wow, so look at that. It connects.
That is how things connect. Yeah.
Wow, oh my God. And you focused on proofreading, copy editing, web content writing as well?
Yeah, that came a little later. So I was always really interested in technology. You know, I was maybe one of the first 10,000 people who got an email address from CompuServe, which was the big thing next to AOL when the internet started. And, you know, instinctively when that started, I knew that's going to be big, you know. And
you made your right bet, my man.
I just didn't have, you know, I'm not really a tech guy in that sense, so I wasn't too keen on, you know, doing a startup and starting to, you know, put technology together. But anyway, you know, I was always interested in that. I also very early on had a website, and in the production companies I worked for, I often was like the first guy who knew, you know, how to handle a website, how to do, you know, that little bit of online advertising that at that time happened, and so yeah, that was let's say the second thing next to writing that I always found pretty fascinating.
Wow, man! So you're one of the pioneers.
Yeah,
look at
I
that.
wish I was
one of the pioneers.
Them.
Well, one of the early adopters. How about that?
Early adopters. That sounds better.
Pioneer. We don't want to mess up the resume too much. They're like pioneer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, we might get sued if we do. Wow, that's so cool, man. So that's good because you had that creative kind of and also like ambitious mindset of like, hey, I think this internet thing is gonna be pretty big. And here we are, working on AI now.
And then basically what I did, but unfortunately I was a little bit too early when I did my PhD. I tried to, or I didn't try, I did an experiment with online co-working or collaboration between writers. So, you know, I thought writers' rooms are really difficult to organize, you know, especially if you want people who know writing, you know, good writers. You can never get them really to be in a room, you know, for a month or something like that. So why not do it remotely, you know? And at that time, remote work wasn't a thing.
Wow.
And
he's a pioneer for this one. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I pretty much was a pioneer, but that didn't work out too good because at that time, and we are talking like 2004, the technology wasn't simply yet there to really do, you know, meaningful online work. But I gave it a try.
You're persistent, man. Another P word right there. Very persistent PhD.
Yep.
Wow. So you're a doctor of philosophy?
Yeah, that is because media sciences in that university were under the roof of philosophy.
Interesting.
And you had also to do a little bit of philosophy, of course, because it was the department of philosophy. But you know what I did was in media sciences. Yeah.
Perfect. That's so cool, man. And that was in Berlin.
Berlin.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Lots of Berlin out there. Wow. And how many years was that whole program?
Oh, I didn't follow really the program because, you know, I come from like, I wouldn't say poor, but not really well economic background. And so I started basically to work when I was 17. And I did my PhD while working. So I did it at night and you know, in the holidays and stuff like that. So if it was a program, I would have finished earlier. But doing it next to a quite demanding job like, you know, producing TV series and movies took a little while.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. That's that passion, though, man. I feel you, man. Also coming from like upbringing where, you know, you share your siblings' clothes, that kind of thing.
That kind of thing.
Scholarships are my best friend. You know, I wouldn't have been able to go to college without it. So it's like it also makes you push a little extra more too. Like you said, those late nights.
Absolutely.
I've done those too, man. Like we were talking earlier, like my early mornings. 4:15 a.m. I'm up. You know.
Amazing.
Thank you. It's Patty, your 5 a.m. personal thing. Arigato, sir. How do you say thank you in Italian?
Grazie.
Oh, grazie, and then merci.
Grazie mille.
Grazie mille. German is what? Danke.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Yes.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Well, there's so many thank yous out here. I love it, man. I love it. In Indonesian, we say terima kasih.
Terima kasih?
With a K. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Yeah, okay. Indonesian trip soon. We'll We'll figure that one out.
I have to go to Indonesia.
Oh man,
one country I've never been.
Really?
Yep.
Dude? Okay, well let me know exactly the dates.
I certainly will.
I'll find a way to also go too, because
okay.
We have some unfinished business over there. Oh, sorry. Mom, don't watch this part. Don't watch this part. Mom. Sorry. Oh man, yeah, Indonesia's fun. I think you would love it so much.
Yeah, I have to go. Yeah.
And the energy of the people there is so kind. People that visit too are so kind too. I've met so many amazing people. A lot of my friends are from Denmark. They had like a nonprofit organization over there helping people.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's just like nice, just having people from all different walks of life. We all look completely different. It's different hair styles, different eyes, but we're all part of the same human race, y'all. Living our best lives, you know?
So true.
Living our best lives. All right, man. Head writer, though. Okay, head writer position for... Okay, I'm going to try again. Oh, God. My German fans, please don't flame me. Verliebt?
Yeah. Verliebt.
Verliebt in Berlin.
Yep. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Danke. Okay, I'll pay you later for that compliment. Tell me about this series. It's based off of Ugly Betty, or?
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, there you go. Tell me about.
So that actually happened because I was teaching at the Berlin Film School, and I had I think a dozen students in this creative writing class, and one was a girl from Brazil.
Oh, shout out to the Brazilians right there!
And while we were doing this class, she talked all the time about telenovelas, and I didn't have, the first idea what a telenovela is.
Yeah.
I really didn't know, I mean, I heard that word in Italy every now and then, but in Italy it was like old women who watched, telenovelas in the afternoon in southern Italy.
Literally my aunt. That's it. I used to watch them with my aunt. Yeah.
And so, I checked it out and I found, wow, this is amazing. It's daily drama, but it is stories with a beginning and an end, whereas soap operas, they push and push to basically have them on the air forever. The older soap operas here in this country are like 50 years old, like The Young and the Beautiful. They're on the air basically for 50 years, if you can believe it.
That's insane. 50 years.
So insane.
Is it like also Days of Our
Lives? I think another one that has like 30, 40 years or
that's
something.
Another one, yeah.
And so, because, a very important part of writing stories is actually how does it start, what's the arc and where do you want it to go?
Where do you want to end it?
And therefore I thought, wow, telenovelas can be the next big thing in Germany. And I started to watch one after the other, and that was how I came across Ugly Betty.
Wow.
That was way before the Americans, or here in the US they did an adaptation.
Yeah.
And then I really...
Pioneer. I told you, this is the keyword today, pioneer. Look at you, man. Okay.
No, and this one actually too, because of course nobody in Germany believed in it. All the network people said, "Are you crazy?"
Really?
We set up a daily show, and then 160 episodes later, it's finished, it's done, and what do we do then with the time slot? And I told them, then you put up the next telenovela, and people will watch that too. But, there was actually no way until, through complicated circumstances, one day I found finally somebody, Chaim Saban, who bought a network, who had bought a network in Germany, and his wife had watched Ugly Betty while they were on a business trip together in in South America. Yep. And he heard from her, and then he basically through different people heard from me that I thought this should be done, and that was basically how it happened. And not to pat myself on the shoulder,
I'll pat you.
Thank you. But it became like the most successful TV show in Germany to this day, I believe.
645 episodes.
So true, yep.
That's, like I said, 81 episodes of The Patty Show. 645 episodes, man. Oh my goodness, dude. Yeah, you guys won like the German TV award, I think in 2007, which is insane. What in the Rose d'Or? Rose, how do you say it?
Rose d'Or.
Rose d'Or.
Rose d'Or.
Golden Rose. It's a prestigious international TV award, if you guys don't know. You said twice?
For 2 different departments. Yeah.
Oh my good. Look at this. Yeah. Legit right here. This is why you got to believe in yourself when this stuff is like...
Yep.
Especially when, like you were saying, like sharing the story, which is so beautiful, man. No one believed you. They're like, you crazy, man? We already have this formula. We're good. We don't need that BS. Yep. And then I bet they wish now they were early adopters because their wallets would have been more happy. Man, I'm so shocked that 645 episodes and the fact that you really pushed through, and it really was like that moment where it's crazy how the wife of that executive was like, you know, this might be a good idea because I'll watch this over here. It's like life is so weird like that. You can never really predict anything. Yep. So and it kind of also goes back to our love for networking too. You never know who you're gonna meet. You know,
there you go.
Be someone randomly on the streets running on the side of the road. Could be your next business partner. Yep. You really never know. So you just have to have an open mind, be ready kind of at all times, and you'll have 645 episodes of success in Germany. Damn, that's insane, man. How did you keep writing 645 episodes, man? That's
that's again, you know, that's teamwork for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I certainly didn't write them all by myself, but you know, the real difficulty here is that it was what you call a dramedy. You know, it has had comedic elements.
Yeah.
And that was really very difficult to pull off. You know, because basically, when it comes to comedy, you need a very precise voice. You know, it needs to be from that point of view of that voice. You cannot really create, I mean, you can have good ideas for comedy in a team, but when it comes to writing dialogue, you know, it needs to be this one dialogue style that people buy at the beginning, you know, and then they want it over and over and over again.
Yeah, you have to replicate it.
It was a lot of redrafting, you know, we did at least 3 drafts of every episode before it went out. And that was really, really a lot of work. I mean, sometimes...
That must be really hard, though, with, like, making sure the characters would actually say that in the world.
Yep.
How do you have any advice for any writers that are doing that type of genre for, like, keeping true to the characters? Drafting helps a lot. Is there any other tips like that to help them, I guess, stay on track with these characters?
Yeah, you know, I think it is... that you really need to feel this character, you know. You need to be able to wake up like at 2 in.m. and somebody tells you, okay, how would Betty react, you know, if somebody told her, that she gets a dog for her birthday or something that, you know. And, you know, it needs to be there immediately.
Yeah.
You cannot... it's not a style exercise where you say, okay, you know, let's compare these 2 styles and which is a little better. No, you know, the writing needs to, you know, it needs to be there the moment you sit down. You need to hear this voice in your head if you want. You know, you cannot squeeze it out of yourself. It has to come. And again, you know, my recommendation is write a lot of stuff, you know, and then throw it all away. And I assure you, that among all the stuff that you have, then there will be this 1 or 2 sentences where you suddenly say, oh, wait a minute, you know,
it sticks. Something
maybe
sticks.
That's not for the paper bin, you know. I should keep that. And then, you know, you have a start, and you know, from there on, it's a lot of work, but totally doable.
It's just getting the reps in, and like it sounds like it's cliche advice, but it's so true, so applicable. I took a intro to comedy, stand-up comedy class with UCB, the school. Shout out to them over there. UCB Diversity Scholar, but. That whole like writing process for the stand-up, it took forever, man. Because I was like, how do I say this story of me like loving to travel while also having my voice still intact. And this is my own personal voice. It's not even just like a character, you know. It's still one of the hardest things because when I first start like the set, I have to, the people that randomly see me don't know me at all. So I have to have myself as a character too. You know, you have to become a character of yourself, like my own version of Patty, you know?
Absolutely.
Right? So it's similar with the whole character writing where you're like, okay, what would Patty do if he's talking about him traveling to Northern Europe? Am I going to go straight into the, you know, the messy relationship stuff? Oh, that's the T. Or am I going to talk about the food? Or am I talking about this? So it's like making the choices. And in acting, a lot of the time it's basically just making choices. When I took this acting class in college, forgot my teacher's name. He's the homie though. But it's all about being decisive with the choice you make and not being willy-nilly. Like you just have to, if the choice is I'm grabbing the water, I'm grabbing the water. It's not like, I mean, the other choice could also be hesitating to grab the water, you know? But it's just committing to whatever that choice is and kind of going with it. Sometimes there's just so many different choices, you don't know which one to pick. And then that's when people have the, what is it called? Like creative block, writer's block and everything. Once you start writing or start saying things or start doing it, you'll see so many options, you'll know which one you like. Because it's like
No, it's exactly what you said, you know. Every stand-up comedian will tell you, you know, the hardest thing for them to do was to invent their stage persona, you know. And once you have that, you know, it's still a very hard job, you know, and I admire that you did that, you know. But the really hardest thing is what's the thing of this persona that I want to be when I'm on the stage, you know, because it's not you. It's not you who is standing there. It's a representation of you.
Yes, exactly.
That you know that you think people want to hear from. You know,
it's an extension, so to speak.
An extension, exactly.
And it's really hard because you really also have to be pretty vulnerable when you're up there because you take obviously I'm also kind of a clown day to day. He knows me already, you know. But you kind of have to amplify certain things, tone down certain things. Like I'm not gonna be talking about work the same way on stage, then you know, like
exactly.
you know,
exactly.
and you kind of have to like pull the levers and play with it, whatever. And I guess there's a lot of parallels with like the character writing, like you were talking about with all the TV and everything that you've been writing. It's fascinating how you can really pull different levers and then have different outcomes and all that kind of stuff. It's so cool, man. I'm glad I'm a writer.
And again, you know, coming back to your theme, it again has a lot to do with boundaries, you know, because, you know, on the one hand, you know, we all know when it comes to boundaries, you know, up to this point here, you know, your skin, that's you, and, you know, that's the boundary, and everything that comes outside of it is, you know, not you, you know, like a really important concept that makes us us, you know, because animals most likely don't have that, you know, they don't have that. But, you know, this kind of, you know, being in yourself, if you really want to write, you have to, you know, at least for the time of writing, you have to let go of it, you know.
Absolutely.
You have to like be as open to anything that comes to you as possible. You know, if you stay in your own, you know, in your own self, and you are not ready to have this openness or what you call vulnerability, you won't get anywhere with writing.
Absolutely, and that's what makes us human, y'all. Telling stories.
Yep.
Speaking of,
so true. So true.
totellastory.net. Oh my goodness, the big look at that, perfect transitions out here. Tell me more about totellastory.net. I love the name, by the way.
Thank you.
What inspired you to create that name, and what's the mission behind that?
Yeah, the mission basically was that, so when I came here 10 years ago, I, of course, you know, started first of all to write a lot. And I have to say, you know, I have been a little bit delusional because I didn't quite realize that this year, you know, within the within a perimeter of 20 miles, you find probably like 60% of the best writers when it comes to TV in the whole world. You know,
crazy, yeah.
And I wasn't like really aware of what the competition for me was, you know. And so I continued to write, but I also thought, you know, why not open a place that is for other writers, you know, to get them to where they want to be, because because you know, one of the most important things in this business is giving good feedback, you know. And I really know, like, you know, maybe without kidding, 2 of 100 people I know are really able to give feedback that, you know, triggers something in your head, so that you say, okay, you know, wait a moment, I didn't quite get what the guy was saying, but, you know, it started an interesting thought process, you know. And so that is basically what I thought was good to offer, you know, to the writing community, and that was the reason I started to tell a story.
Wow, to tellastory.net. You do a lot of consulting right over there, helping with like character. We were just talking about the characters, but like developing characters and everything like that, right, online?
Yeah. This was, for example, how I got this job I talked earlier in teaching, creative writing. And I also was fortunately discovered by Netflix, who sent me like in different places in the world.
Wow, Mr. Worldwide again. Here we go.
To do some consulting for TV.
Nice.
For TV series, yeah.
Okay, because that's your focus, right? Because of
that's my other focus, other than meta, of course.
Of course. We'll get some of that type of stuff eventually. You know, you're also a juror for the International Emmy Awards.
Yep.
Wow, man.
I am.
That must be a big responsibility, man, being a juror for something as big like that. When you like judge these different, I guess, like TV shows and everything, what's your personal criteria? Do you have like things you look for? Anything out there? Not that I wrote a TV pilot or anything like that. I haven't written anything, but like yeah, like what are you looking for like people that are going to win the awards, these international Emmys?
Yeah, no, that job is a lot of fun, and fortunately really easy, because it's not. I'm not on the jury for scripts, but for a TV series.
Okay, that's fun. Yeah.
And so I get to watch basically once a year the most interesting stuff from all over the world.
That's cool.
Which is really cool, and I'm really thankful that I can do that. And, you know, when it comes to watching, it's, you know it as good as me. It's a gut feeling, you know. I mean, I watch 10 minutes and either it gets me in a way, you know, or it somehow keeps me watching and may get me later because, you know, it's a slow burner. But it has to get me, you know. If nothing happens, you know, if it doesn't trigger any kind of feeling or
emotion. Like, was it resonating with you? Kind of
resonating, exactly, you know. And when it comes to writing, I can only say, you know, I spent most of my life reading scripts. I might have read, you know, some 10 to 15,000. And
that's crazy, man. Oh God.
And I think, you know, that when it comes to writing, I'm at the point, you know, where I hate to say it a little bit, but I need to read the first 10 pages of a script, and I know if it's worth reading the rest, you know.
Wow.
I really, when I do consulting, do my very best to read everything, you know, because I think just out of respect for
of course, the writer.
The writer. But, you know, nevertheless, because, you know, at a certain point when you watch when you read so many scripts, reading a script becomes like watching a TV series, you know. It's really, you know, you can read a script of a 1-hour TV show in 1 hour. If you don't even need to, you know, really race through it. And so, it's about the same thing, in the first 10 pages. There needs to be, maybe it's, only one little sentence that one of the characters says that makes you, question something or wonder or whatever.
Have a reason for you to still pay attention to the story.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Wow, that's so fascinating, man. Wow, look at you, man. He's right. You said 10,000. That's a lot of scripts, man, and a lot of consuming a lot of type of content. I mean, like you were talking about earlier with the whole like movie theater stuff. You're just a thespian of the arts. You enjoy it, man. You and my brother would get along really well. He watches a lot of movies every week too. He's a big movie guy too.
They say, and I really think that's true. The most important thing you can learn in this business is to know how to tell good from bad, or good from not good enough, And that is, what I found is really true. And again, I know I wouldn't say that I'm always able to do that, but I certainly do not know more than 2 people out of the maybe in the thousands of people I know in this business who have this instinct, to say, this is good, this is what I want to do.
Interesting. Okay. What's your take then on movies that are like spoof movies?
Spoof movies?
Yes. Do you know like a scary movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Scary movie or what do you think about them? Okay.
I admire genre movies really very much, because I think it's writing something like scary needs a real skill, and like the same skill it needs to make a beautiful chair. Because it's not like you sit there and say, okay, today let's write a horror movie. That's not the way to do this. You need to watch a lot of horror. You need to make a lot of mistakes, and at a certain point you get how to do that. And so I love watching genre movies, and especially horror movies like scary, that have this really nice balance between being really scary but also funny, That's what I really admire a lot. I wish I was able to write this kind of stuff. I'm not, but I
get scared. I'm a big scaredy cat. I think everyone knows this already. I've acted in some short films where it's like horror based, which is super fun because you're not scared at all. Because when you're shooting, when the bad guy's coming, it's a fake knife. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not real. So it's actually really fun to record those and just like be part of like the set and everything. But man, the different genres are very unique, I'd say. Do you like movies that are like super silly and ridiculous, for example? Like, have you heard of like Scary Movie, the new movie coming out, Scary Movie 6?
Yeah.
You know that one, where they like make fun of all the horror movies?
I heard about it, but I haven't yet seen it. But as long as it is really funny and but on the other side also really scary, I absolutely would go for it.
This is my boy, positive guy. He's not a hater, okay, guys?
Nope.
Because there's I only ask that because there's some people that are very like pure, like with the their art form of writing or acting. They're like, I can only act in dramas, no soap operas, no comedy. Some people are like that. So I feel like for me personally, I always tackle this with my brother because we're in the industry of like acting and entertainment. I'm like, hey, if I'm having fun while I'm on set, I don't care what genre it is, as long as it's not like 18 plus, if you know what I'm saying. No offense to anyone that does that, but I don't know if I could do that personally. My mom would actually kill me, and also I don't know if anyone wants to see little Patty on screen. Patty Jr. is not little though. Okay, I'll just clarify that. But so it's like I feel like there's also like a genre and type of entertainment for everybody, just like people that I personally don't watch like historic documentaries, but I know a lot of my friends that love it. Like they could watch hours of it. I watch like random superhero stuff, Pokemon, I keep it simple, and for them,
And,
they probably don't like it.
Yeah, and I think, what I really like about the movie business over here is, that people in a good way have in mind the audience from the first word they are writing to the last day of shooting, and that is something that is missing in so many other countries in the world.
Yeah.
To really, because at the end of the day, it's so expensive to make movies. It is a business,
Yeah.
You need to get people to watch what you are doing.
You need that money back eventually, and some, Yeah.
And if you're not like, one of the very few geniuses in the world who can say, oh, I sit there and I imagine something and then I film it, and it's going to be great. People like that exist, no doubt.
Yeah.
But, if you are not among them, try to think about why would people, take $20, carry it to the movie theater,
And be like, hey,
spend it there and, sit in the dark
for 2.5
hours
or something.
Why would people do that, You got to give them a reason to do that.
Absolutely. And I think also recognizing your audience, and like we kind of tease a little bit about niches and everything. Like some people, like we were talking about my friends that like the historic documentaries, that's like a specific niche, and if you really double down on it, you can get the money. Obviously you can't have like a $50 billion budget for that because there's not that many people. I don't know, actually. There might be a big population that like it, but not $50 billion, But if you can do it with like a smaller budget, like let's say a couple million, whatever, you can make that return if you know how to work with the people in that niche that actually like it. The audience, or like Pokemon, for example. I love Pokemon. They have the new games coming out. They have some unique ones that are kind of like, I don't know if I'll actually like it, but since I'm a fan, I'm going to still try to contribute somehow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you can target your audience for anything, it's all marketing. The world, life, TV writing, whether it's acting, personal training, it's all marketing. All of it. How to sell also is another important thing.
Yep.
And it's so, I feel like it's hard to do it now, but also it's easy at the same time.
But also with historic documentaries, you can do it in in a way that captivates an audience, and you can do it in a way that might feel great to you, because you covered like all the bits and little pieces of your topic. And at the end, nobody wants to watch it. Take a guy like Ken Burns. People think, oh yeah, this guy. Of course, he's famous, and they let him do documentaries. When he started, people thought he was crazy. He basically took photographs, and did like zoom in very slowly, and then he told a story while you were zooming in on this picture, and it turned out that's exactly the right way to do it for certain topics in historic documentaries, So
a lot of experimentation too, like we were talking about with the reps, and you just keep doing it. If you have unlimited budget, it helps, of course. That's why these big companies, they can do everything. But that also helps for people like us that don't have unlimited budget. Like for this podcast, I started off with just the camera, not these amazing mics. Shout out DJI, sponsor of the Patty Show. And look, we're in a cool new set. It's like, I got to be more creative. That's
great job, Patty.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Really?
I think that's speaking of, working with different people, though, directors, actors, all that, man, you've worked with a lot of them. What makes for a great director and actor?
So, for a great director, I would say, well, I take an example when I was in that film school in Italy. It was right across the street from a place called Cinecittà, which is a studio complex, like here in Los Angeles, like MGM Studios.
Oh, wow.
A really big place. And a very famous Italian director who might not be known anymore too well, Federico Fellini
Okay.
was working there. You know, he made films like La Strada or 8½, and you know, for a time he was like a global star, a really big name. And you know, when I was there at the film school, he was already like in his late 70s, and you know, one day they told us you can go over to the studio complex and you can watch Fellini direct, you know, and we all were, oh my God, let's go, and and we were excited, you know, and it was a really, really hot day. And when I say hot, you know, in Rome, it can get really hot, you know.
Oh wow.
And that was the early afternoon. You know, in Italy, the film crews, unfortunately, you know, they eat their dish of pasta and they have to have their little, you know, schnitzel, and they also have to have some red wine.
Yeah.
So when they come back from lunch, they are like destroyed, you know. Like if you do that in 100 degrees Fahrenheit, you eat this kind of stuff, you come back to work, and the only thing you want to do is sleep.
Take
you know?
a nap, grab one of these pillows and go to sleep.
And so that was the situation we went in. You know, the whole studio was waiting for Fellini, and they were all, you know, hanging, you know, in there, but barely, you know, tired and not inspired. And then this guy came in, and it was, you know, as if they had all taken an electric jolt, you know.
Wow.
He went in there, he said, okay guys, are we ready? You know, and within seconds, this whole studio woke up as if it was in a fairy tale, you know, with the
magic wand.
The magic wand, exactly. That's what it was.
Wow, so he had that presence to just be like, hey guys, let's get to it. That power. Wow. Oh my goodness.
And that is, you know, I think as a director, you need to have this kind of aura, and you have to have this, you know, this belief in yourself, that even if there are 200 people, you know, buzzing around all day long, you need to, you know, have this concept of yourself. I am, you know, the center of the world. And that doesn't mean that you need to be a dictator or you need to shout or something like that. On the contrary, you know, you need to be that, and all the rest will come together like nothing. You know?
It's the whole leadership component behind it. And it's a lot. If you guys have never been on set for anything, it's like, even for short films that I've been in, it's like 30, 40 people. Imagine commanding everybody, the actors, you got production assistants, you got people dealing with lighting, and we all have one vision to make this amazing film, this TV show or whatever, and it's not easy. So much respect to the great directors, like you said, that have that presence, that aura. Man, that's a really, thanks for sharing that, man. What about for actors, though? As an actor myself, what do you think are some good traits for like a really good actor?
Yeah, that's a whole other thing, you know. I think, you know, I would never be able to be an actor because of what we talked earlier. You know, you have to let yourself be, you know, permeated, or how you say, you know, by every influence that, you know, that can give you, you know, this thing that, you know, lets you really enter another character. You know, you have to have an openness that I wouldn't be able to generate. That's for me the most important thing that an actor can have. And then, you know, you need to have like, or let's say, you have to keep a sort of your child's soul, you know.
Wow.
In a way,
I love that.
Inside you might really not ever want to completely grow up, you know, because so much of good acting is, you know, comes from this, I think from this wild desire to play. You know?
The playfulness.
Yeah, the playfulness, you know.
Man, very eloquently said, young friend. We'll have to make a short film where you're acting in it, man. Just to test
no,
out
I
that
don't think
theory.
so.
Maybe
I
cameo.
don't
What about a
think so.
cameo?
Yeah, a cameo.
A cameo,
okay.
we'll write it. It'll be a love story of me finding my wife.
Okay.
Let's write that down. No, that was really well said, man. I think the playfulness and the openness, those are the two things that I've seen also with all my other actor friends and people that I've seen like just either from behind the scenes or like working with other actors. Having the openness is it's so powerful because that's when you can really become one with the character, because storytelling is always about the characters. You need those characters to keep the plot moving, because if the character isn't believable, you don't really want to watch it. At that point, just watch a documentary. No, catch it straight.
And again, coming again back to your theme, I think you can only do that if you set very clear boundaries. I've been on quite a lot of movie sets, and let's say the real actors there, the ones who were serious about their business, they come out, they are completely open to everything and ready to do everything, and they do it for the 10 minutes that the cameras roll, and then they walk immediately back wherever they can have their privacy, and don't let anybody intrude their safety, place of safety. That's so important, because you can't be like you need to be to act all the time, because you go crazy,
That's a good, like you mentioned with the whole boundaries, that's very important. I did a short film that should be coming out soon. I'm playing a 65-year-old retired lawyer.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Workaholic lawyer that tells his daughter some like pretty big news. Don't want to spoil too much. But that's like a very, gut-wrenching story where it's like, I'm definitely not 65. They did the whole makeup and everything, so don't worry. It looks really great. But channeling those like emotions, it's like you need to have, like you said, the boundary and space when we're done shooting, taking time for myself to channel it still, and also like keep it in for like the next take for something, because it also depends on what the scenes are. And I think that's also one of the hard things about like on-screen acting and then like theater or like live performance, because theater is like kind of linear, For on-screen, man, the toughest thing is whenever we have to do, let's say, the last scene for in the first day, because the lighting is best during this time, whatever. So it could be like the sad scene, and then now I have to channel all that. And then the next scene is like 2 hours ahead, but it's now a happy scene, It's like, and it's a different kind of like continuity. But I guess like when you were talking about with the whole knowing your character so well, like when you were doing all the different TV, you just have to know your character so well that like the moment, like you said with like the Ugly Betty one, where you're like, oh, I'll wake up, what would she react if she got a dog just now? You just have to automatically know it. You have to be like, okay, my lawyer guy, what would happen if his daughter doesn't show up today? Would he feel sad? Would he resent her? Would he be happy because he never liked her anyway? Like you ask those questions, and when you ask all those different questions in different scenarios, it's so much easier to kind of lock into it and kind of get into that, that type of zone.
Yep.
And that zone is like so hard to, I guess, teach and coach, because you just have to, it's like a feeling kind of thing, Sorry guys, I wish it was easy, but and it goes back to like what you said earlier, man, just getting those reps in for this type of work is the best way, whether you're writing, you're acting, you're like performing, getting all those reps, those quote unquote ugly reps is how you get the beautiful ones, where you're like, oh, wow, Michael's such a natural at this. Oh yeah, but he's been writing how many scripts? Thousands? Reading 10,000, whatever. It's not like he did it over 1 day, 2 years, So it's like people don't see the work and they expect, oh yeah, it's gonna be a walk in the park, just like our amazing park over there.
Certainly not a walk in the park.
Definitely not.
That's how much I can tell you.
I know it's definitely not. But I did want to ask you about this whole narrative lab that you work on, and like AI and writing, man. That mix that you're kind of like delving into, which is kind of cool because like that's how we know each other. But that whole AI and writing, man, how did you know that it would work, and how do you even explain that to people? Because I think like we were talking about the people that are purists for certain like art forms. I feel like people see like AI and writing and they think like, oh, it's just gonna like fight against each other. Like, how did you find a way to blend those two together into making like, I think on the website there's like some sort of code that you made or something. Yeah, how did you find that, man? You're pioneer over here. I was looking at it. I'm like, damn, impressive.
Yeah, that basically is my attempt to bring it all together. I think I had an ChatGPT account 1 week after they came out with ChatGPT 1.
Early adopter.
Yep. I'm certainly, my second name is Early Adopter for sure.
There we go.
I discovered thanks to you.
Yeah, man. Now I know.
Yep.
We need to talk more about crypto later, okay? Off screen, so they don't have to know, okay? Damn. And you call it narrative engineering?
Yeah. So to
cool,
take
man.
the story from there, I of course at the beginning was hoping, this tool can help me write. It's working with text. I just prompt it and it will give me the stuff that is so hard for me to do. But, another advice for whoever wants it from me, don't even start to take an AI assistant for writing, because everything that comes out of it is crap when it comes to writing,
Okay,
I mean, AI assistants do amazing things, we all know that by now, especially when it's come to coding or the knowledge they have acquired and stuff like that. But if it comes to storytelling, really don't even try it, it will be mediocre at best, and more often than that, even worse. But, there's one thing, and given that what we do here has a lot to do with AI characters, we basically talk to characters every day. And
a little too much sometimes.
A little too much, so true, And, from the beginning, I was asking myself, why are these guys so boring, Why are they always so helpful and so interested? You can also say only, hey, buddy, I don't know. Oh, you don't know. That's interesting. Let me help you with, like it's really like only a crazy person would do
exactly.
that, So
it's not that realistic,
Not realistic at all, And of course, the more the need is to keep people interested in them, the more I was asking myself, what's behind the scenes of these characters, And behind the scenes, of course, there's code, and if you look at the code, you know immediately why these characters are so boring, because the people. And again, with all respect, the people who write the code that makes a character are more often than not people who don't know, let me say, a lot about storytelling.
That's a fair assumption, man.
What they do, and I really believe they do it to the best of their abilities. They write of a character, yes, this is Elsa, she is a lonesome princess, she lives with her family, but she doesn't like it a lot because she thinks they don't understand her. And it goes on and on and on like that. But if you read like a profile of a character that makes people cry or laugh or have emotions, it's always the same setup. It is a character in a given situation that is neither really good nor really bad. Then he or she gets an opportunity. Some change comes to their lives. They have to make a decision. They want a certain thing. Often what they want is not what would be best for them as a character, and they need to go on a journey that makes them discover that what they want is not what they need, and at the end of the day, they need to discover, what do I really need to make my life, more meaningful, happier.
And all that,
and all that, it's always this. You can tell me any character you want, and you will always find this elements, and I was really surprised when I looked behind the scenes that I didn't find these elements in none of the characters that we were working with, and so I thought, what can be a way to deal with it, and the way to deal with it is that little tool that I called Narrative Lab, where you can basically put in, it's not more than 3 sentences, one sentence for where is this character now. Take Walter White from Breaking Bad. He's an unhappy teacher who feels that his genius is not recognized. So what he thinks he needs, what he thinks he wants is that finally people get it that he is a genius, and he unfortunately nearly missed the Nobel Prize. But what he really needs in life is to come into himself, and to feel the power that he as a human being has, with or without a Nobel Prize. It really doesn't matter. The power of being himself is what Walter White really needs. And these 3 sentences, make for one of the most successful series in streaming or network.
Like all time, honestly, everyone.
And so, and basically because it is not so much that you need, I built this tool, and you can basically put in these simple sentences, and then you can push on a button, and you get like a really famous story doctor or script doctor, as they are often called, like Robert McKee or Sid Field, Linda Seeger are some. I condensed basically what they have written in their books to 4 pages. The language model takes these 4 pages and compares them to the character that you will want to build, and it gives you a verdict, either saying, this character is good, go on working on it, or it needs still some work. That's the Narrative Lab.
Wow, that's amazing stuff, man. Where can we find that, by the way? The website?
Sorry?
The website, where can we find it?
It's totellastory.net/narrative-lab.
Wow, that's amazing stuff, man. I didn't even know you had the whole technical side mixed with the whole creative. You're really ahead of the curve, man. Because when
not really,
the AI bots take over everything, you'll be good, because you'll have your consciousness uploaded somewhere.
Yep.
Probably.
That would be nice.
We'll be side by side, taking over the world in our little AI sphere. Wow, man, that's so cool. And do you? So you take some clients as well for that, right? Like for consulting?
Well, that is online. I think for 8 weeks now. I haven't really publicized it a lot. Some writer friends of mine have used it, and they actually say that it's the first time they see AI doing something which is useful, because I think it's really useful at reviewing things, and applying certain, certain concepts on things. That's really what AI is brilliant in. And here, this doesn't do more than that. It doesn't even attempt to write a story for you. You can have this Narrative Lab to give you a little bit of dialogue. Your character talks to somebody else, and you can talk to your character as well in that.
That's so cool,
in that little tool. But it doesn't try to write a story. It tries you to get your thinking straight about what kind of character you want to work with.
That's so cool, using those tools for specific cases, because people use like the generic ones where they use it for everything. Like one day you use it for a grocery list, the other day you use it to write me a poem that will make me win this prize or something. It's like
so true.
And also we work with a lot of the AI tools. The memory of it, oh man, they remember things sometimes, and a lot of the times they don't. I was testing out. I forgot which tool it was. Oh, it's this one for that's connected to more Instagram, since I've been posting more fitness content over there. And they literally forgot what day of the week it was. I'm like, help me with this posting schedule, It's like, okay, so since you already did something Saturday, I'm like, today is Saturday. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Today is
Yeah,
Saturday,
right.
you know, and then I'm like, bro, I could have just done this myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when people are like scared of, oh, AI is gonna take over, maybe. I don't
But
know.
not today and not tomorrow.
Not today, not tomorrow.
Yeah.
So just be familiar with the concepts and just like, I guess it helps that we are in this realm already and we're kind of like familiar with everything, and use it with a grain of salt. Use it to help you. Don't use it as a crutch, because I think a lot of people have been using it as a crutch recently, and don't lie, I can't lie, y'all, I've done it too. So a couple times you're like, oh, write me this, and then like you said, it's a lot of crap, and it just not.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible. AI couldn't write something that got two. What is the award called again? The Rose
Door.
Yes, 2-time Rose d'Or award winners, 645 episodes. You know,
That's that's
can't
by
do
the
that.
way. That's what, by the way, the day I will get really scared of AI. Because everybody's talking about taking over. If the day they win, an AI wins an Oscar or a Rose d'Or, or
something like that, a prestigious,
a prestigious
award. Yeah.
award. That's the day, if it's genuinely be done by an AI and there was no significant interference by humans and it wins, a prize. That's the day in which I think, okay, now we need to be a little bit careful, about its capabilities.
Yeah, I guess. Then we
know-
retire together. We move to Bali with all of
Yep,
our wives
exactly.
and live a happy life.
Yeah, right.
Have a happy life.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
more forbidden love. Okay, there we go. Oh my
exactly.
God. I do want to talk about some articles that I saw in your blog post, man. It's funny we were talking about writer's block, but you have an article called 5 Ways to Overcome a Writer's Block. Do you think those 5 things that you talk about in the article still apply today, or are there any things you want to update from that?
No, I am not sure if I remember all 5 of them, but I think there are, valid ideas, because also as a writer, as I said earlier about acting, one of the really important things is that you reawaken the child in yourself. You need to bring yourself to play games.
Play games. Yep.
Anybody who tells me that playing games is not a serious thing, please tell me how come that playing games is how humans are created, because it is what children do all day long,
Yeah.
and you unleash so many resources that you didn't even know you have by doing really stupid games, these 5 things, I think, there aren't much more than, putting words together and trying to make sense of them, or putting some words in relation to each other and think, okay, let's think about, what an elephant can have to do with Clint Eastwood
Yeah.
and, a teapot.
Yeah, wow,
and,
yeah.
And maybe nothing, and then you go on and you take 3 other words. But, that's where to this day, unexplainable thing that's called an idea comes from, because to this day, ideas are generated out of thin air and nobody can really tell how it happens. And I think, the closest I got to any explanation is that they come from your brain cells playing games. That's how ideas are born.
Yeah,
and therefore that's a proven way to unblock your mind, because a mind that is blocked is very often too focused on something, whatever that is, and worst of all for a writer is if your mind is too focused on writing.
Oh yeah.
That's when it gets really bad.
That's truly writer's block.
When you sit there and you think, I have to get this on the page right now. That's the worst way to get something done that I can think of. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, no, that's true, man. It goes back to the play. Another P word right there. even when you play sports too, you get so much
Exactly.
endorphins. I've been telling you, I've been playing more soccer more, and it's just been so nice to run around, have teamwork with your team, communicate, which is all skills you can transfer for work, for like your career, for your acting, writing. It all comes down to play, and honestly, that's how our parents made us. They played with each other. Okay. Hey.
One thing I didn't think of, yeah.
Hey, right? So, hey, they did.
True too, yeah. Absolutely.
Mom, stop watching this episode now, please. That's just how it is, It's all the play right there. So that's very poetic, man. Look at you, man. Very eloquent with these words right here. We kind of went all over the place, but I do want to talk about our talking points finally. We had a great conversation right here. Our talking point on passion, okay? Protecting what matters for us. How do you choose what gets your energy and what doesn't get your energy?
Yeah, very good question. So the first thing that comes to my mind is something a very smart woman, I think it was Michelle Obama, said, which is no is a complete sentence. And that is something that I always recall in my mind, because not only because it's very important to say a clear no to certain things, if you really want to protect what's dear to you, but also, at least in my experience, if you say no, especially to something that is tempting, like there is, something you could, spend your Saturday with some friends, on the beach, and you are sure it will be a lot of fun. And if you say, no to that, even with only a vague reason, like I had the idea to plan this Saturday on writing, if you do this, if you say this clear no, then you put, I think, yourself under the right kind of pressure to say, now I have forgone this great opportunity to have some fun on Saturdays, and that must mean something now for me, and that is how at least I often get to do some meaningful work. To say, let's cut out, let's set a clear cut and cut out time, even if I don't know yet exactly what I'm going to do with that time. But the simple reason that I have drawn this line and said no, that's time I want for myself, puts me in a situation where my brain somehow starts to work in another way, because it thinks, okay, now we have done this and we need to make the best of it.
Yeah, and I like how you said you kind of commit to it, and because then you have the peace of mind. Because if you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out with like, no guys, I can't go tonight, when you're writing, you're gonna think about it the whole entire time.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Having that kind of commitment too, of being like, okay, this is my no, because I need to write, because I need to go perform, I need to do, exercise or whatever it is. Putting that hard boundary helps a lot, because now you free yourself more and you don't feel guilty, because having guilt when you're writing is probably one of the worst.
Doesn't work at all.
Unless you're writing, I don't know what story you would write. Maybe it's all about guilt. Yeah. Maybe I don't know.
Psychodrama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's like method right there. That's method writing, I guess. But that's really great, man. Shout out to Michelle Obama. We'll have you on the Patty Show eventually. Amazing. That would be amazing, man. Our second talking point kind of connects to that as well, but on pleasure, saying no for your yes. How does creating space make room for joy?
Another very good question. First of all, creating space goes a little bit back to what I said earlier. And when it comes to space, actually, I, even when I lived in the smallest of places, and now I'm talking, about space in the real world, I always tried my best to have like a dedicated space to the things I really love to do, you know, because we all know, you know, we need to spend our days with terrible things like tax returns and
Don't remind me.
paying the bills and, you know, paying to keep the lights or working to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
But, you know, you need, and even if, you know, you live in a space as big as this room, I really recommend you carve out a place of which you say, in this space, I'm going to do only the things I like, you know, and that leads to, amazingly, and that really works, I can tell you, that leads sooner or later to, as soon as you sit down in this other place where you want to do the things you really like, your brain starts to work in a different way. You know, it's not anymore focused on the day-to-day and
the stress,
you know, on the stress and all the stuff, but, you know, it, you know, let's say understands that as soon as you are in that special space, something else is required of it. You know, and sometimes I really lived, you know, for months in hotel rooms, but I would, you know, do as simple as, you know, put the desk in a way that I could sit on it from here, or I could sit on it from
different
here.
angles, okay.
Yeah. So, you know, as long as I sat from here, I was doing, you know, whatever was required for my job. And then when I started to do my own thing, I sat, you know, on the opposite side.
Wow.
And that is, of course, as if you were sitting on a new desk.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it works, even after a short period of time.
I mean, that's also like earlier when you saw me sit on the other chair. So we have the standing desk over here, but I usually like sitting on that little small cushion when I'm working on the podcast for like my acting or everything. Just because even though it's literally a foot away from my desk.
Yeah, it doesn't matter,
and I can still see my desk, it's like it's a different like orientation. I'm sitting down, I'm in a different angle. It's literally different. And it's also, the mind is such a powerful thing. You can trick it so easily.
You can,
just like different angles. I like that how you did the different angles with just the same table. Wow, very creative, man. Look at you, man. All the best advice. All free advice over here from the legend. Our final talking point on positivity, boundary rituals. How do you stay positive when people don't respect your boundaries? If there's some confrontation, for example.
Yeah, that's probably the most difficult thing to do. Because, you know, I might be a little sensitive when it comes to that, but I think people voluntarily or not try to break your boundaries all the time. I don't want to say that I have found a really good way to deal with it. The one thing I can say is what certainly helps is to remind you every day and do this like as if it was a little kind of your daily exercise, you know, what a great guy you are, you know. Do it even, you know, if at the beginning it is ridiculous and you think, what am I doing that for, you know, but take some time to, you know, remember yourself all the good and great things you did in your life, you know, and that will, in my case at least, sometimes work as a good buffer, you know, when I feel that people are, you know, entering in my sphere where they shouldn't be, because, you know, at the end of the day, the only thing that counts when that happens is how do you react, you know? And if you are, you know, and if you are in a mindset, which I unfortunately am often not, that allows you, you know, to react with calm, you know, and a certain kind of, you know, friendliness, then this will go away in no time, you know. But if you panic, as you know, have every right to do, if people, you know, don't respect your boundaries, then, you know, it can get ugly pretty soon. So, you know, put yourself in an inner situation in which you are able, you know, to react in a, you know, cool way.
Yeah, cool, calm way, just like our brother Michael Esser here, man. We are so grateful, man. What a blessed episode. A lot of knowledge, nuggets. Did a lot of research on you. You do amazing things, man. Where can people find you? On LinkedIn and your website?
Yeah, my website, and it leads to LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I'm
What's your
also
website again? It's
totellestory.net and also mikewesser.com.
I believe so too. We'll double check. I'll put it on the link,
Yep.
man. We're so grateful for you again, man. Any stuff that you want to tease for the future that could potentially be out there? Any new projects?
Well, I am planning to build this little narrative lab out.
Okay,
I want to do more about this because I really believe that helps in some ways where today, AI is still not doing what it can do. And I'm writing onto two series projects and knock on wood.
Yes.
I hope that they will land.
That's
pretty
exciting.
Soon. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Well, we're praying for you, sending you the good energy.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the good vibes, y'all. And if you guys want more good vibes, at Patty Show Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, pattyshow.podbean.com and pattysettiati.com/podcast. We usually like to end the show with like a little bow and arigato, thank you in Japanese. But since you know so many languages, we're going to have to do all the thank yous in the languages. So how do you say thank you in, you said, German, Italian, French, Spanish, right?
Dankeschön. Grazie
mille.
Muchas gracias. Merci beaucoup.
And then we'll do arigato at the end.
Arigato.
Okay, let's see if I remember. Okay, everybody ready? Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dankeschön. Okay.
Grazie mille. Merci beaucoup.
Muchas gracias. And arigato. Thank you, everybody. Woohoo! Thanks for joining me on this episode of The Patty Show. I hope you had as much fun as I did exploring the crossing point of the 3 Ps: passion, pleasure, and positivity. If you want to keep the Patty Party going, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and all social platforms at Patty Show Podcast. Share this episode and leave a positive review. pattysettiati.com/podcast as well as pattyshow.podbean.com have got more of your Patty Show needs. In the meantime, keep passionately pursuing your personal paradise. Arigato.